wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
The legendary.
The icon, Miss Lynn Whitfield. Welcome.
Good morning.
How you feeling?
Thank you. I feel great.
Glad to hear that.
I'm happy to be back.
Look
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You just came back from South Africa and Zimbabwe, right?
Yeah, I came back from South Africa. I was doing a film in Cape Town. I was there all like 2.5 months.
What
How
was
was
that
it?
like for you spiritually and culturally?
Okay, so spiritually, there's a lot of there's a magnetic force there, you know, with Table Mountain, the Cape of Good Hope out there. It's so powerful. So I feel very energized by the energy of the place, and often saddened by the history of the place. You know, so I have to kind of balance that out and maybe not go to the Slave Lodge Museum right away, and maybe not go to District 6 and, you know, remember Robben Island and all of that, you know, and just feel the energy of the place, why it was so attractive in the first place that people wanted it so badly and still do.
Yeah, I'm going to Cape Town for the holidays. I've been to Joburg. I've never been to Cape Town.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
It's like a cross in topography between, say, a San Francisco and a Miami.
I think it's like Miami. I always say Cape Town reminds me of Miami a lot. Durban is kind of like D.C.
Yeah, and you know, I haven't been to
You haven't been to
like
Durban yet?
Chicago,
Yes.
Atlanta.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how I feel. But I love it there. It's my 4th time in South Africa.
Now you're on season 7 of The Chi.
Yes.
How are you enjoying The Chi?
Oh, well, I really enjoyed it. Season 7, it was great. I mean, I went in for 3 episodes at the end of season 6, and then I was invited back for all of season 7, and it was great. So many young, talented actors and an interesting storyline for me. So, yeah.
How do you decide what you want to do now, right? Because you've done so many things, and so many things have been impactful for our community. How do you say, you know what? I want to do that. I want to work with the Young Bucks on this one, or I'd rather do this one. How do you decide what Miss Linfield?
I don't know. When I read something and my imagination gets to cooking and I can see where I can add something to it. My Southern mother in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who's now 94. Yay, Mom.
Wow.
That's a blessing.
Wow.
Man,
Isn't
I pray
it?
to get to that.
She says, well, she'll put something on or put a throw pillow on the couch or do something, and she'll stand back and she'll say, I don't know. Does it add? So if I feel like I can add something, add dimension, add deeper meaning, you know, thread something through a story that makes it better, I usually want to do it. Also, you know, I like roles that are a little bit showy, that I get to do something exciting. And yeah.
I heard you did that with Alicia. I heard that you said you were drew to the role not because of what was on the paper, and that you needed to fill that role out a little bit more.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What do you
The
mean by that?
possibility of it.
Okay.
Okay, because it was only for 3. It was supposed to be for 3 episodes. So we have the first. The first information was she wanted her son to go and revenge the death of her brother. Okay, which is, you know, street culture, street law, like revenge, right? So I found that very interesting to me because I don't understand people. I don't really understand the visceral energy of people who actually are hurt, disappointed, feel lost, and then turn that out into, I'm going to make somebody pay, because it still doesn't make the pain go away, you know? So it was very interesting to me to take that journey and kind of figure out and fill in the gaps of how a human being can decide that because I'm hurting, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to kill you.
And hopefully it makes me feel better.
And hopefully that makes me feel better. You know, because I watch true crime sometime, and, you know, I love our country. But there's a lot of gun violence going on. People are acting out in some ways that more violence will make me whole. That's crazy. That's a crazy concept to me.
Well,
and so I wanted to explore that kind of psyche.
You know, people are just hurt, and hurt people hurt people. It's projection.
Well, that's it. Well,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Yeah. When you have all that unhealed trauma that you haven't dealt with, you just go around projecting it on other people.
Exactly. So, but the journey, so we understand intellectually how that works, right? But do we actually, if we were a fly on the wall and saw people move in that direction and move to that and go and purchase a gun and go and do, and all of that. So it's the nuances of it that are interesting to me, not just the, the sweeping bullet point concept.
Have you ever had to emotionally recover from a role you played? And which one took you out the most, personally?
It's one that nobody ever, that people didn't really see. It was a part of a trilogy of short stories that was on Showtime years and years and years ago, and with Andrew. I can't even remember all the people who were in it, but the character was raped, and when we shot it, it was a rainy day in Toronto, and the whole thing, the being thrown down, the invasion of it. Of course, there was no sexual act, but it really took me a little while to process all that and like release it, because that aggressive act was so harsh to my spirit. Even though we were acting, I had to just kind of heal from it. And that was an unpleasant one, and it took a while, and I cried myself to sleep that night. So my heart goes out to, women or any human beings who've been,
Sexually assaulted. When
yes.
you hear that in the news, did that bring you back there?
When
to
I
the
hear
acting role?
When I hear it in the news, again, it's the nuances of something. So we hear, somebody was raped, somebody was sexually assaulted, but the nuances of actually that happening to you, your body being invaded, you being overpowered, you being overthrown, it's frightening and it's painful and it's helpless.
And you've also portrayed a lot of powerful matriarchs, right? And I always wonder,
Well, powerful women, they're not
Powerful
all
women,
matriarchs.
yeah,
And
powerful
sometimes they don't. There are powerful women who don't have children, can't
That's
have
true.
children.
That's true.
Yeah.
I always wonder, what did your mother or even grandmother teach you about that, commanding presence that you brought to those roles?
I don't know. I think that's an energy that somebody's kind of born with. And my mother has it. And it's funny because my mother has this commanding presence, and she's, in her youth was really beautiful and well-groomed and all of that. Yet, as her daughter, I know the nuances. So that's why I texture all of the women, because I was raised by women who have a lot of dimensions to them, who have a lot of insecurities. And sometimes insecurities are all wrapped up and dressed up, in fancy clothes or, jewelry or perfume and, hair and all of that. But that doesn't have a lot to do with the evolution of a soul. So I find it very interesting to always go a little bit past the power and into the other nuances of who people are. So they're never just always powerful with no problems, without character flaws. They're not perfect. They're always some little missing link that they could make better, that makes them not quite the person they want to be.
Is it even possible to capture the complexities of a human in one role? Because it feels like you can only focus on one or two layers of a person.
Well, that all has to do. Well, of course, it depends on the script. It depends on the way a writer allows you to develop a character. Yeah, so you can't tell the whole story. I mean, when I did Josephine Baker, we couldn't tell the whole story. How can you tell the whole? How could I tell your entire story? I mean, I could read your book, and you probably didn't tell your whole entire story. That's a very specific. You can only make some decisions and take an angle and make some creative decisions and go with that,
That's right.
Well, when you
Because
look
there are, if you look at a human being, there are like central events in people's lives that make a big difference in who they turn out to be. So you can make a choice. And that's not just the actor, that's the writer, the director. I can decide in my mind, these are events that I know that occurred in this human being's life. So that will affect how I respond, right? Even if the audience doesn't see it. The audience seeing those important events that happen to you help them have more compassion for your mistakes, I think. Understand. I mean, there's so many people that we love in the world who are cultural icons. Big mistakes. You make mistakes.
Yeah.
Well, something happened when something had to happen long before you made these mistakes that skewed your judgment, So I believe that human beings were born good. No baby is born a villain. No baby is born a murderer. And it's up to, how they're parented, what they're surrounded by, what they're exposed to, who they turn out to be.
That's right.
I was going to ask about the evolution of Hollywood, right? Meaning, I don't think people look at movies as they did back then. I wanted to get your thoughts on it, right? Because, when a movie came out, everybody wanted to go see that movie. But now I feel like we don't have that same feeling towards movies a lot of the times. Like I was just talking to Charlamagne about the Clarissa Shields movie, and I was like, it was an amazing movie, but I forgot it came out. It came out on Christmas, and I happened to see it on a plane, and I'm like, damn, this was a good movie.
And you didn't. Yeah, well, technology has sort of changed everything, I think, because everything is accessible. When movie culture was a family event, when people waited with bated breath to go and see a movie, the opening of a movie, it was because they weren't going to see it. If you miss it in the movie theater, you might not see it.
Until it went to Blockbuster. I know I'm telling my age, but yes, we went to Blockbuster.
Until
right?
you could get it at Blockbuster. I
Remember
thought of Blockbuster in a long time, but it was so great because it's a family event. Everybody gets together, you going. People even used to want to look cute. They have dinner before, and the family goes to the movies and shares this idea. I loved drive-ins. Drive-ins were great because we go in our pajamas. But no, it's not like that anymore because people have access. Sometimes they have access to the movie before it's in a movie theater. So technology has kind of changed all that.
But does that kill the experience? Like we were talking about, even Sinners. Like he said, you want to see it on IMAX because the sounds and the quality. And seeing it on airplane TV is not doing anything for it.
Well, can I tell you?
It's still going to be good when it comes out.
Well, no, of course it's going to be good. But when I trained to be an actress, when I was at Howard, when I trained, privately, after college and all that, I was training to be on a big 30-foot screen. It was not occurring to me that people would be watching my image on a 3-inch screen on a phone. It really, that part makes me a little sad sometimes. Yeah, because I fell in love with movies and storytelling, watching things on a big screen. Or at least the $1 Million Movie with my grandmother, when you could, but this had been a movie and you couldn't see it anywhere else unless you caught the late night movie and it was playing again. You couldn't just on demand it somewhere.
Well, what's the difference? Like, how do you approach it differently as opposed to, okay, I know this is going to be on a film, big screen, this is going to be on TV. Like, how do you approach it differently when you act?
Little bit.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, when you know something is going to be on a big screen, and you trust the director, I'm so excited because I just did a thriller with Malcolm D. Lee. That's what I was doing
in South Africa.
In South Africa, so I'm excited. And we know that it is made for the movie theater. Okay, so when a screen is 30 feet tall, you really can think a thought, and it will transmit. You don't have to show people what you're feeling. You can simply feel what you're feeling. and that's so beautiful. But if you know it's on a tiny, a small screen, it kind of gives you freedom to be more animated. You know, I mean, you know, on a 30-foot screen, I mean, I don't want to see people's lips trembling and all that. But you know what I mean? I don't want to see somebody, you know, if they're surprised, like eyes, because that means your eyes are like 15 feet. It's big, you know, and invasive. And I think film just pulls you into the experience, you know. And the smaller the screen, you don't have to think about it quite as much. So it can be different. But good acting is good acting. Believable acting is believable anywhere. It could be on the stage, a big screen, television.
Right.
But there are little nuances that can change when you're doing it for a big screen. How do you like seeing stories? How do you like to take it?
That's an interesting question. I mean, and I'm hearing you say it now, and then I heard like one of my production partners, we was talking earlier this week, and he was like, you shoot it, and then after you shoot it, you determine where it's gonna live, or you can tell where it's gonna live. And I had me just thinking, I personally think I like the theater, even though I like the comfort of home. But certain things I want to go see in theater. Like I enjoyed watching Sinners in theaters. I went to go see.
I can't wait. I
Thunderbolts
haven't
the other
seen
day.
it yet.
Me neither.
That.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Wait
the theater.
to see it.
I still enjoy the theater.
Well, too bad I'm leaving. We could go.
You could have went.
Yeah.
but I like home too because I like the comfort of my home and the safety of my home now with everything going on. I like being home.
I know. Every now and then, I remember last year I was in Chicago. I went to see was it Pretty Things. I forgot the name of it, but it won the Oscar. And I was leaning back on the seat, and the seat was kind of tweedy. And all of a sudden, I got into my mind, like, oh my God, what if somebody like had some kind of something that I could catch from being on my knees?
So now you're scratching the whole time.
I know.
You're not enjoying.
Nah, I be like that when I go to the matinees, because I go to matinees,
Yeah.
and so nobody's in there.
Yeah.
And so I'll be all the way to the top. So
yeah.
if somebody comes up there and sits by me, I'm like, why would you come all the way
up
here?
there to
Like,
sit?
it's a whole
What
big
in the
theater.
world?
Yes.
That's
yes.
like being at a gym.
Yes.
And the gym is completely empty.
Yes.
Why in the world are you going to choose the treadmill right next to me? I don't want to hear you grunting and breathing. You know?
And I like the theater experience now because I'm learning like how the IMAX experience enhances it. All right, the other day I went to go see Thunderbolts. I went to go see Thunderbolts last week, and I went to go see it in, was it RPK or RPX or something like that? And you feel
felt it.
Right. Yeah.
All the rumbling, all
Yep.
this, all more
Yep.
experiential. Kind of, well, we certainly need really quality escapism right now, I would say. So, yeah, it's great to be enveloped in an experience and lose oneself to just taking in another story, taking in humanity from another point of view, whether it's action or whatever it is, romance, sensual, whatever. It's just great to leave our problems behind and step into somebody else's reality, I think.
Now you were
Miss
talking about
Whitfield, okay.
you were talking about black stories and
I
all
know
stories.
you're going to call me Lynn. No.
He said Miss Lynn.
You used to.
Miss Lynn
Miss
Whitfield.
Whitfield. I say Miss Lynn.
You know, just Lynn.
I ain't never called you no Lynn. I said, hey,
No,
Miss
but would
Whitfield.
you please call me Lynn?
I can say Miss Lynn.
It's disrespectful.
It is respectful. Okay, Miss. All right.
Miss Lynn ain't cool. Like, Miss Lynn.
Well, then if you're going to do that, I probably like Miss Whitfield better.
Miss Whitfield. Okay.
I was saying, when we talk
Miss
about
Lynn sounds too southern for you.
He's from South Carolina.
I'm from South
He's from
Carolina.
South
You
Carolina.
Born and raised.
I'm from New York. He's from South Carolina.
Oh.
Yeah, I was born in Charleston, South Carolina, raised in Moncks Corner.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
I never would have thought so.
Absolutely. Born and raised. All my family there right now.
Really?
Mother, dad, in-laws, brothers, sisters, everybody. Cousins.
I didn't
That's
know
home.
Okay, we country can then.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
In my Baton Rouge self.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
I was asking about, you talked earlier about our stories, black stories. Why do you think it's still so hard for black stories to be told and sold in Hollywood when, obviously we're supporting, people are going to see, but they just don't want to produce them?
Now, we could just go on and on.
We got a little time.
Well, the relevancy of who we are as a people, the entertaining nature of who we are as a people, the magic of who we are,
Of course.
is always being downplayed, is always being made less important than it is. In every aspect of our culture. I mean, in fashion, nobody's going to say, wow, this is really something that was very much influenced by the wraps that were worn by men in some, Western African tribe.
Even the Met Gala made $31 million. How much went to organizations that benefit Black and brown people?
It says 0.
So, I just came back from South Africa, a country that I love. I love this country, but that, the supremacy of others and the self-importance of others, and I feel the insecurity of our wonder, being threatened by our majesty, our creativity. So it's constantly a threat to people. It's constantly being belittled and made less important. That's just the nature of it. Because, I thought I would be, just getting away from some things, being in another country for 2.5 months. But it is so the truth. I mean, I go to Victoria Falls, which is called Mosatunya, and that's the storm that thunders. I think that's the tribal, Xhosa. I think it's Xhosa, the language, and that was the name of it. So this English explorer comes, the tribe show him this one of the 7 wonders of the world, and he says, Livingston, oh, this is marvelous. Yes, I discovered this. I think I should gift it to the Queen and name it after her.
Crazy.
So that's Victoria Falls. So it's a constant kind of wanting something that doesn't belong to you,
Right.
or wanting to quiet things that are threatening to you, or makes you seem less interesting, or has commercial value, but you want to own it. So that, it's the same story over and over and over and over again. So sometimes I feel like if we just keep just talking about it, we're just romancing, like old dead mess. Because I can't see white supremacy disappearing. I can't see the need to make others small to feel strong. I don't see it leaving, right? And
The hilarious thing about white supremacy is that we're not the threat to your existence. White supremacists are the threat to white supremacists' existence.
well, of course. But when you get to the point when we're just even hitting the tip of an iceberg, talking about cultural things, artistic things, and why, Soldier's Story, which was Soldier's Play, could be done and do all that box office back 30 years ago with Adolf Caesar and Denzel and all that, and then after that there's still a dearth. Or how you could have Lady Sings the Blues and it'd be so incredible. But, thank God HBO said, 20 years later, let's do Josephine Baker. I mean, how many stories? So it doesn't matter often like what the box office is, that it actually made money. They just don't see the relevance of filling our theaters with more.
Yeah.
And sometimes we maybe don't, put forth the stories that move us forward. I mean, there's so much complexity in race in every corner of it. What do you think?
I think everything you just said is absolutely correct. But
But does it make you tired? You have these conversations. Does it make you?
You know
because
why?
you have so many of these conversations.
It makes me tired when we're not doing anything about it, but I think that there's a lot of people that's doing things about it, and I'm not looking for
Well,
white
Ryan
acceptance.
Coogler is
Exactly.
definitely doing stuff.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I am just Ryan. I want to work with you. You are brilliant. He is just so
Absolutely.
brilliant and courageous and just
Authentic, yes.
and authentic. You know, just so multi-layered in his message. So there's always something that moves us forward. You know, we got all the leaders we got, and now maybe we have a pope who'll be some voice in something to speak up. You know, there's always. I have faith. I hope, but I have faith that there'll always be something that'll bring a balance to it.
Well, that's something that's always God. I think.
Well,
Yeah.
God is always it.
That's right.
But God will always provide
That's right.
some new voice, some new leader, groom somebody that we don't know that'll come out of nowhere and help us to get through this.
Ms.
Or
Lynn
groom
has to
us
leave,
each.
too.
What?
I love your.
They said you have to leave at 9:45.
Oh, I do?
She said, "Oh, I do."
Exactly. Relax.
Oh,
Hush.
you're just tired of me.
Okay, perfect.
You know, I love your longevity in the game. I don't think we applaud that enough in people. Just the fact that somebody can be around for so long and be so consistent, right? Was there ever a time in your career when you felt invisible? And how did you push through that season?
Well, you were just talking about God,
Mm-hmm.
right? So those times when you say, God, I've contributed, I've done, you know, I've tried to do good work all this time. Why is nobody seeing it? Why is the continuum, right? So yeah, that happens. And then I have to have faith that this gift that was deposited in me, this purpose that was put into me, what is not there for nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and that the right vehicle will come. Or perhaps maybe what God is saying, well, you need to do the right vehicle your damn self,
That's right.
because I've given you all kinds of talent to do so. So, you know, whether or not I'm obedient to that, you know, we'll know maybe in our next conversation. But of course, and I get through it with God. I get through it with my love of storytelling, my love of acting, of being a part of this phenomenon.
Why wouldn't you be obedient to God telling you to make your own? Like, what would even be the hesitation?
I don't think it's a hesitation of I don't know if I should do it. It's the energetic activity of what it takes to do it and to sell it. You know, to see it all the way through. That's why I'm saying Ryan Coogler is just so inspiring, you know, because he went all around Africa to many, many countries before he did Black Panther, you know, researching. He researched the blues and all those. So it's me wanting to put forth all the energy, effort, layers that it takes in a craft that I haven't spent my life developing, like acting, telling the story, but creating the story, like taking a pen and putting it on paper. And I kind of always want to be good at what I do. So the sloppy copy, I just feel like the sloppy copy might scare the shit out of me. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I can't do this, you know, like a blank page. So that's why it's not a brazen disobedience. It's more maybe a lack of confidence in that area.
Gotcha.
I love when I hear, you know, the OGs talk about people like Ryan, because I wonder what is Ryan doing that you haven't seen before? Because the Gordon Parkses and the Melvin Van Peebles and the Kathleen Collins, the Spike Lees, like, you know, all of these people have created great Black work as well.
Well, what Ryan is doing is taking that same kind of authority, creativity, authenticity into genres that we're not usually.
Got you.
Yeah, you know,
Got
so
you.
that.
Got you.
Yeah, so
Got you.
that's
Got you.
wonderful.
Got you.
You know, so we have voices and being told in all those areas. You know, Sinners is, you know, well, there's, but yeah, it's vampires, right?
Yeah,
And the blues,
yeah.
and you know, so authentically moving us into not camp, not, you know, just authentically, like, this is a real story, not like a shiny costume, but a tweed suit, and it's been around a long time. It has character,
It still feels black.
and it's.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so that's why I applaud him so, because we need the new voices, right? We're talking about new voices. We need new creative leadership. We need fresh energy all the time.
I think Jordan Peele does a good job too.
Yes, yes, he does.
I think Jordan Peele does.
He really, really, really does a really great job. And I think there's so much more to come.
Is there a movie role that you turned down that after seeing the movie you was like, damn, I shouldn't have turned that one down. I like that movie, or a part or a character?
No, there were one or two that they didn't choose me for that I thought I should have done. But then, you know, you can never name those. Y'all are not.
I would have did
You're
a way
not
better job
gonna-
than her. They should have
You're
chose
not
me.
gonna rip me a new SL on that. Oh no. We're not. We're gonna leave here with
Okay.
just, it's gonna be smooth sailing.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people online comparing the role of Alicia to your Lady May role. Have you seen that? And how do you feel about those comparisons?
I mean, they can do what they want.
Yeah.
I think, you know, Alicia, Lady May, they have a kingdom and they're not going to lose it. You know, they have, you know, what they have, they're not going to lose. Lady May would not pick up a gun and go kill somebody. She might pray you out of the church, but she wouldn't take someone's life. Lady May is a God-fearing woman who feels that putting her faith in God will help her do what she needs to do. Lady May had a long-standing love affair with her actual real husband, even though they had problems. So it was a much more organized family structure. Alicia's out there on her own, you know, divorced, by herself, trying to make something of her son, not having much faith in anything, so therefore feeling like she's got to take care of it all. They have in common that they're well-groomed women, but I really pay more attention to the diversity in these women's emotional experiences. So for me, they're very different. You know?
I think they're looking at the on-screen diva
Well,
energy, but
this
not the
is it,
internal
and
character.
not like who they are, and it's not always my fault. I am not somebody who says it's in my contract that I have to have fabulous clothes and I take them home with me when I go. They must be gorgeous. They must be designer. People see that in me, and it always just, even if I'm trying to be less. But did you see my film Albany Road? You didn't see that. You didn't see Albany Road because it was an independent film that didn't have great distribution, but there's absolutely no glamour. It was last year. We won several film awards, and it's me and Renee, Elise Goldsberry, and a lot of great actors. But you see, that stuff, it doesn't stay around. I was funny. I was not glamorous. I was
It wasn't
a
your
flat-footed
typical part, as you would say.
No. So there are. I've played my maid, and you know, and this and that. But they don't see them. They don't seem to stick. People like what they like.
They like seeing. But do you still you don't still audition, or do you still audition? Do you enjoy the audition process, or is it one of those things now you're like, give me what I want?
We just talked about Hollywood. And no, why are you asking me some
Because
shit
you're
like
an OG
that?
and a legend, and you got the hits on the board.
Yeah, I do. I've made classics. I mean,
Absolutely.
You know, I'm a horse that you can bet on. You know,
Absolutely.
bet on me. I will not break a leg or lose the race for you. I will take it to the end, and people will feel something. That's the truth. But that is not always rewarded. And there's, you know, so yeah. Many times I'm invited to do things. I was invited to do The Chi. I was invited to do Albany Road. I was invited to do the film I just did with Malcolm D. Lee, which I have great expectation that it'll be good. But then sometimes it's like, oh, really? Well, we just need to see her. We need to see her do it, prove it. And many people. Yeah.
After the Emmys,
And now
the Golden
you're not
Globes,
even
and all of that.
What the Golden Globe nomination, and after the absolutely. It's because here's the thing. So much of casting in Hollywood, and Hollywood is based upon fear. So like you don't want to make a mistake. A director wants to be sure maybe that you can deliver their vision of something, and nobody wants to take the blame. Nobody wants to take a fall. So show me, prove it to me. I don't know if everybody goes through, but I think if you asked many actors, probably not Denzel or Sam or, you know, this, it tends to be a little bit easier for our male stars than women.
Do you feel you get the flowers you deserve for all the roles and the hits and the big movies and the big shows? Do you feel like you get the flowers that you deserve? Honestly.
Look. Well, let me say, I think I'm more in the market for, like, because you know flowers wilt and die. Okay. So I'm good with. I mean, I understand when they say I want to give you your flowers while you here. I know, but you know, give me some diamonds. Give me some things that stick, that continue to gain value.
Appreciate
and
that.
So classics. So an opportunity to do more films or stories that will be classics, that will stick around after I'm long gone, is what I want. Gotcha. I don't need so much people sitting around saying, oh, you did so good and you're an icon and, you know, on your shoulders, you open doors for me. I'm like, I'm opening doors for myself still. I still have stuff I want to do. You know, so the Black Critics Association honored me this year at their luncheon, not at their evening big gala, but it was beautiful at the luncheon because it's more intimate and people
Why y'all ain't honor Miss Whitfield at that goddamn dinner?
Gil, don't listen to
Gil,
them.
come on, Gil.
Gil,
The luncheon?
Just the brunch?
Gil, no, because people really talk real smack at the luncheon. It's not so formal. I really, really enjoyed it. And I said something there that I really would not say probably at the gala, which is, thank you so much for the respect. Thank you for giving me flowers. That I opened doors for you and you're inspired and all that. But I mean, I really don't feel comfortable when people say, you know, on your shoulders I stand, and all. Please don't stand on my shoulders because I need to be laying on my feet. I'm not going to be put in some corner. And as long as I can just keep this, I heard that alt therapy and red light therapy really, you know, tightens skin. So as long as I can keep it, then I have so much I want to do.
What do you tell the young actress in college right now, Hampton University, that is looking to be in this game? What do you tell that individual?
You heard that little shot he tried to throw? You just try to see a little
Is
shade?
that your child or your girlfriend or who you talking about?
I went to Hampton. I went to the real.
Oh, you went to, I'm trying to. I just want to know who you talking
I'm
about.
just talking about the young
Just
actress
the young-
in college right now.
She would tell her transfer to Howard. That's what she would tell her.
No, that is so mean. That is so mean. I would say, you know, that it's really important to really be good at what you do, to work on the techniques that will give you the upper hand when all that stuff is going on, auditioning, nerves, action, everything's going, if you have to have your game plan. So that's called technique. So I would say, real study so that you have command of your own talent is really important. And then after that, to understand the shifts in this business that would give you visibility to even be considered. That is important. Social media is important. Now, where are people finding talent? So figuring out the business part of it and how you can attain it, because agents don't even want to represent people who don't already have credits.
Yeah.
And then out in Hollywood, everything's behind a gate. But every audition is like virtual, so you don't even get to there is no couch thing even that you have to worry about, because they just
It's virtual.
It's all virtual. You don't even have to be worried about that. It's like, oh, can you send a tape where it has to be in by 5:00, and they get 100 tapes, and then a casting director goes through that, so you don't even have the opportunity for your personality to stand out or whatever you're trying to.
I thought you were about to say you don't even have the opportunity to sleep your way to the top.
No, I didn't want to say it because I have to be careful.
What?
Like Lynn Whitfield was talking about that. What is she doing for young? I was like, I don't know. People take things out of front.
I got you.
Yeah. So you don't even get to get in the room. So learn the business and how you can amplify your talent. Mm-hmm. But first, please be good. Mediocrity is just the most boring thing.
I just got 2 more questions because I know you got to go. What does success look like to you at 25, and how's that definition changed now?
Oh, at 25, I wanted an Oscar. I still don't have one. I haven't even been in anything that would give me a consideration for an Oscar. I haven't even been in that conversation. I don't know. That was just a childhood. It's superficial. I know it is. But oh my goodness, it was just sort of something I romanced in my life, right? So I still have the 25-year-old version of that. But now I just am more comfortable with myself. And I trust myself more. And what was different with my 25-year-old self than now, I think I was much more of a romantic. And now I'm not so much of a romantic.
Really?
I don't think so. Okay, here's the thing. I am a romantic, but I thought that being a romantic about life meant that you would find the best of romance, that life would be so romantic. And I don't think that life is as romantic as I thought.
Got you. You are aging like fine wine, right? So what's the most misunderstood thing about being a woman who ages publicly in Hollywood?
That there's some kind of neutering thing that goes on, where you don't think of women as sensual or sexual beings, or real women. It's stereotypical things that begin to happen in terms of roles and casting and writing, and that's what our Black writers do it as well. It's not a white Hollywood thing where this happens. It just happen and it's boring as shit. It's really a boring.
You can still be sexy. You can still be romantic. You don't have to grandma me. You don't have to auntie me.
That's why I call you Miss Whitfield. Because if I call you Lynn,
but that's
like,
boring, though.
Yeah,
but that's boring to call me.
You still got that everything. You still got the sexiness.
Well, it's fun. That's why I said if I get this old therapy, just keeping everything. The
so
red
you wear the
light
mask
thing.
at night. You put the mask on, the red light mask.
I have it. I don't do it as often as I should, but I'm going to, because That would be the only thing, just keeping everything tight and
But it's
fabulous.
an energy about you. It's an energy that you have. It's the energy Stephanie Mills has. It's an energy. It's an energy.
Felicia Rashad.
Felicia Rashad. Oh my God. Lord have
Yes,
mercy.
yes.
Angela Bassett.
So that's it. I just think they do that, and that's boring. It is so boring. How they, the stories that they write, how you're perceived.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. They want to write you into parts that they think an older woman should be playing, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They want to write that in, comfortable role. Everybody ain't got children. There are barren women. There are women who've never had children, who are really interesting, who have a life. And even if you do have children, if people have lives separate from their kids and their husbands and their like appendage roles. I don't know. I'm very just fascinated by interesting women who continue to be productive and have a life. And they do, and we do. So I don't like that.
Well, we appreciate you for joining us.
Always.
And you
I don't want to end on something I said I don't like. That's so boring.
Oh, okay.
Does that sound fussy?
Nah.
No, but I mean, no. I know we have to go. But you all always get me talking, and I always leave here saying, did I say anything that's going to be...
By the
Get you in
way,
trouble?
you've earned the right to say whatever the fuck you want.
That's right.
Okay. Right.
But did he tell you that I was one of the early people to make him take his hat off? And I don't know how many people have felt his
He loves
head
you. He starts
and
blushing
how
when you come in here.
and how it just is amazing. I'm just so happy, and I've seen you and you're very handsome
He gets
without
so
it. I like
excited
it.
when you come up here. He starts to blushing and pace back and forth.
Yeah, I saw y'all sitting up in here looking bored as shit before I got in here.
She was in the back looking on the camera.
But thank you so much
He does,
for
he
the
does.
just.
No, he does.
But thank you so much, and thank you for supporting the Shy and all my castmates,
Absolutely.
and mainly for supporting me always and always being kind and never making me too controversial. But I was saying maybe I need more controversy because then you don't think
You
so?
don't want it to be contrived. Like, that's why I'm glad what you. I don't know if you was trying to do that, but controversy, like contrived controversy.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
I don't, right?
No, just keep doing
I
the
can't
work.
even do it. I know, I can't. But the people who do, they find them more. But come on. See,
I don't agree with that.
I'm so.
I don't agree with that. I feel like the people who are actually good, because you said that earlier, make sure you're good. You're actually good. Everybody knows that you're great.
That's right.
I think it hurts to say, but it's a lost art of being great. But anytime you're doing art, you should be being great.
Yeah.
You just don't have a lot of great people out here no more.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Or at least trying. We can make mistakes and do a sloppy copy, and maybe it didn't work, but keep working at it and getting down to the line. You want to act?
No, I'm actually going to be. I'm producing.
You're producing.
Yeah, I like producing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. I
Yeah.
could see that.
Yeah.
What about you?
I did before, but I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
I know. It's a lot of work. It's harder work
Yeah,
than
it's a lot of
people
work.
think.
Yeah, I'm good though.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Season 7 of The Shy is streaming now. Miss Lynn Whitfield, thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Thank
the
you for
Breakfast Club.
having
Good
me.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.